Hello, friends, and good day. Here I'm back with a new life lesson story. Today's story is unique, and whichever walk of life we are into, this story has a lesson for every one of us. The title of the story is Be Smart, Think Smart. I usually love positive stories because it gives us positive vibes. So, no more waiting, let us begin. Long, long ago, there was a kingdom. Do I sound boring to you? No. Wait. This is not a kind of a regular story about any kingdom. Watch this video till the end because the story will be interesting and you won't be disappointed. Therefore, let me carry on with the story titled Be Smart, Think Smart. Long ago, there was a kingdom where people would change their king every year. Just imagine a kingdom that changes a king every year. Must have been a difficult task, isn't it? Now, the person who became the king had to agree to a term before he ascended to the throne. What was the term? The term was once the year is complete, the king can no more stay in the kingdom and will have to leave the country and move out to a remote island of a dense forest that is filled with dangerous animals. Well, rules are rules. The chosen king also had to abide by it. The current scenario was such that the present king's term was about to come to an end, and it was time for him to bid farewell and leave the country and go where? To that remote island of forest filled with wild animals and live the rest of his life there. It was the king's last day, and in the country, the people dressed him up in expensive clothes and put him on an elephant and took him around the city so that he could bid goodbye to all the citizens. While the people rejoiced, one person was very sad. Guess who? The king himself. Losing a throne or a position, we all understand how one feels. Relinquishing the throne must have been a sad moment for all kings who ruled for 1 year and led a luxurious life, but after that even they did not know what was in store for them. That thought was making the present king cry while others rejoiced. It must have been imagining and thinking, no basic things available to live on a remote island. How will I survive on that remote island? But it was too late to think about it, for the time had already passed. After our bidding farewell to everyone, the people took the king on a boat to the faraway island. On reaching the island, they handed him over some ration that would last for few days and left him on the island and made their way back. On their way back, they discovered a sunken ship and saw a young man who survived by holding on to a floating piece of wood. The men on the boat rescued the drowning man and saved his life. They took him back to their kingdom and fed him well. The young man was happy, thanked the people for saving his life. In the meantime, the kingdom was in urgent need of a new king. Knowing the conditions of becoming a king, no one in that country wanted to become a king. Yet, people needed a man who would become the king to run the daily affairs of the kingdom. A wise old man of the kingdom advised, why not make that young man our king? The others agreed to the idea and thought he's an outsider, so we can save our lives for 1 more year. They all went to the young man and put forth their request. On hearing this, the young man was surprised, initially refused, but the people insisted. The young man gave it a second thought and agreed to it since they had rescued him from sure death. Once he agreed, then they revealed him the term to be a king. The young man was bewildered. He cursed to himself why he had agreed, since agreeing to this term was like committing suicide. Since the young man had already agreed, he couldn't go back on his words. He was then crowned as the king of the country in a grand ceremony. Now, this young man was intelligent enough. After a few days of his coronation, he asked his ministers if they could show him the island where all the kings were sent. They readily agreed, took him on a tour to that island. The young man surveyed the island and found that it was covered with thick jungle and sounds of wild animals could be heard at a distance. He walked a bit inside to check and discovered skeletons of past kings who were sent to the island. On seeing the skeletons, he realized as soon as the previous kings arrived on their island after the end of their tenure, within a few days they were killed by the animals. On his return from the tour of the island, the young man thought for a few days. He was intelligent and smart, so he devised a plan. He scouted 100 strongest men from his kingdom and instructed them to go to the island and clear up some space in the jungle. He also asked them to remove all deadly animals and cut down excess trees. When this was done, the king asked his workers to create gardens in various parts of the island. He even visited the island regularly to check the progress. He even took with him domestic animals like chicken, cows, goats, and instructed the workers to take care of them. Later, he asked the workers to build docks and house on the island. Over a few months, the island turned out to be a beautiful place. And during all these times, the young man wore simple clothes and spent little part of his earning as a king and sent rest of his earning to the island for a storage. The whole year passed and the king's term came to an end. People dressed him and put him on the elephant and took him across the country for final bye-bye. However, usually the previous kings were unhappy and cried when it was time for them to leave the island or the kingdom, but not this king, not this young king. People were surprised to see this and asked him, all other kings cried at this moment, but you look happy. Why so? The king replied, while all other kings were lost in enjoying the luxuries and never thought of a way to change their situation in future, I always thought about my future and planned for it. I turned the deadly island into a beautiful abode for me where I can stay peacefully. The story ends here, but gives us a beautiful life lesson. Situations may come into our lives into the way of disaster, but it is up to us how we convert it and make it favorable for ourselves. With this, I come to the end of this video. If you like this video, click on the like button and do post a comment in the box below. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to get instant notification of my upcoming videos. Till we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.